Discussion of core concepts in Hinduism, we are going to look more closely at the concepts of Dharma and Moksha. Dharma is a concept with multiple meanings and interpreted as important in many religions, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and numerous others. But there's no real single translation for the word Dharma. It means to uphold, in a sense. In Hinduism, Dharma signifies behaviors that are consistent and in accord with Artha, the order that makes life in the universe possible. It includes, possibly, duties, rights, laws, conduct, virtues, and also the right way of living. The concept of Dharma was already in use in the historical Vedic religion, and its meaning and conceptual scope has actually evolved over several millennia. In fact, if you were to look at the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and other Hindu texts, you actually arrive at different interpretations of the meaning of Dharma, and we'll do that quite a bit later in the course. But to begin with, just consider that it's a key concept and often signified by a wheel. Organizing principle in Hinduism that applies to human beings in solitude in their interaction with human beings and nature in the broader world, as well as between inanimate objects, to all of the cosmos and the various parts of the cosmos. It refers to the order and customs which make life and the universe possible, and it includes a very broad series of different types of concepts. Dharma, according to Van Boutenen, is that which all existing beings must accept and respect to sustain harmony and order in the world. It is neither the act nor the result, but the natural laws that guide the act and create the result to prevent chaos in the world. It is an innate characteristic that makes up the being of the universe for what it is. It is, claims Van Boutenen, the pursuit and execution of one's nature and true calling in Hinduism. In Hinduism, it is the dharma of the bee to make the honey. It is the dharma of the cow to give the milk. It is the dharma of the sun to radiate the sunshine. And it is the dharma of the river to flow. In terms of humanity, Dharma is the need for, the effect of, and the essence of service and interconnectedness of all life. There are also different types of interpretations of Dharma. So, for example, Dharma is a concept that allows us to expand the mind. This is why Hinduism in Sanskrit is sometimes called Sanatana Dharma, the eternal truth, the eternal path, and so forth. Now, of course, this relates to the concept of God in Hinduism. It's derived from Hindu sacred texts. Then you could create a survey of Hinduism, which would allow you to interpret different meanings of Dharma, but it also relates to the nature of practice. So the concept of Hindu veganism or vegetarianism is considered to be a dharmic practice. Hindu yoga is considered to be a dharmic practice. And we also have notions of yuga dharma, which is valid for a single yuga, which is a unit of time. A yuga is a unit of time that is roughly equivalent to an epoch, or a vast amount of time, thousands and thousands of years. So, Sanatana Dharma is the eternal truth, or the eternal nature being of the cosmos, whereas Yuga Dharma is only valid for a single yuga. Samsara, or sansar, is a Sanskrit word that means wandering or world, with the connotation of a cyclist or circuitous change that is ever constant. It is the cycle of rebirth. It is the cycle of reincarnation. It is a fundamental belief that this is part of the nature of the cosmos in most South and Southeast Asians and also East Asian religions. In short, it is the cycle of death and rebirth and life and death and rebirth and life and death. Okay, you get the point. Samsara is sometimes referred to with terms or phrases such as transmigration or karmic cycle or simply reincarnation or the cycle of aimless drifting, wandering, and mundane existence. In the cycle of reincarnation, a very important concept is karma, which means action or work or deed. The law of karma is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, to phrase it in terms of physics. But think of it metaphysically. The term also refers to the spiritual principle of cause and effect, often descriptively called the principle of karma, wherein intent and actions of an individual cause and influence the future of that individual in their future lives. Now, a common American interpretation of karma has us interpret this as part of immediate life, right? If you drop your keys in the snow, it's because, well, you did something bad yesterday. Well, that's not exactly the Hindu interpretation of karma. It's going to be past and future lives that this will implicate. So it's not necessarily this life, which is reassuring in a little bit of a sense and not in other senses. Liberated from the cycle of rebirth in Hinduism, one must obtain moksha, also called vimoksha or vimukti or mukti. It is a soteriological and eschatological senses. Moksha refers to the freedom from samsara and the cycle of death and rebirth. So that's a larger sort of meaning in terms of soteriological and also eschatological senses. In its epistemological and psychological senses, moksha is the freedom from ignorance. It is self-realization, self-actualization, and self-knowledge. In Hindu traditions, moksha is a central concept, and the utmost aim to be attained through three paths during a human life. These three paths are Dhamma, or Dharma, virtuous, proper, and moral life, Artha, material prosperity, income security, means of life, and Kama, pleasure, sensuality, and emotional fulfillment. Together, these four concepts are called the Purushartha. The Purushartha literally means an object of human pursuit. All four Purusharthas are important. Yet, in cases of conflict, Dharma is considered the most important of the Purusharthas. Dharma is considered more important than Artha or Kama in Hindu philosophy, generally speaking. Moksha is considered the ultimate ideal of Hindu life, however. A little bit odd because it also means the absence of life. At the same time, this is not a consensus among all Hindus, and many interpretations have reordered the hierarchy, so some might put Kama at the top, while others might put Artha at the top, and even argue about whether or not the other four or the other three concepts exist whatsoever. Nonetheless, let's keep in mind that moksha or liberation is considered an important pursuit.